Hi, I'm Dana Hokana. This is part 2 of the stop. Let's learn about the whoa and the importance of the whoa and the importance of a balanced stop. So we already talked a little bit about that horse maybe being heavy on his front end and the importance of drawing to the ground rather than pulling one to the ground. And I want to go into a little bit more detail on the mechanics of this stop, okay? So when this horse when I'll trot him here, and when he goes forward, ready to stop, and I see how he's nervous about it, and that's because he's afraid of getting jerked. Because in his history, he may have had some of that, or maybe he's just a little tenser than some. But we have to read our horses and know what they're telling us. Notice how uptight he is in his mouth and his body language. He's worried about the stop. So if he was your horse, I'd tell you to do the stop a lot and make sure your hands are good. That when you first connect to his mouth, you're soft. You don't see a lot of bumps with my hands. You see a lot of draws, right? And so now I'm going to ask him to stop. Whoa. Very good compared to before. It just took a few times, but in the middle of those times, I had to connect with his face. Because listen, folks, when you connect to your horse's face, even if you're making a turn or you're bridling and collecting, you're building or ruining their relationship, right? So as I trotted some circles, I kind of relaxed him. And I'm looking for him to lick his lips, which he evidently got softer and quieter in his stop. And I'm looking for him to take a breath or release his energy, lick his lips. But see how this is worrying him a little? But now I released. He's like, oh, that was okay. That wasn't a big deal. Now in this side, I'm bringing him around here, and I'm just loosening him up, okay? And also, as I'm doing this, I'm bringing his shoulders up to me a little, which is going to help the stop. One reason your horse hates the stop is because they're on their front end and they know they're going to get a hit in the face, right? And so as I come and I go, whoa, that time he pushed through, I felt a hard spot, but I just stayed there and he met my hands. I didn't jerk on the other end of it. Now to back, I'm going to ask, notice how he hollowed and lifted his head. A lot of people have trouble with that, and we're going to learn about that too. But I'm going to address it that right now I'm communicating between my hands and the whoa and his feet. That's all I'm communicating with. Good boy. I'm not communicating with him in the bridle. In other words, I'm not asking him to bridle his head. I'm asking him to shut down his motion and give me his feet. So people will say, shouldn't you always say whoa? Most of the time I do say whoa. Most of the time I let them know I'm coming and I say whoa. There are times when I know my horse is so out of balance and heavy and messing around with me that sometimes I'll come in and just draw them to the ground. Like there, he wasn't expecting that. However, I never jerk them to the ground. When you jerk a horse to the ground, it's like a pinball machine where you jerk them to the ground and they're ready to shoot out that door. And remember what we talked about in the first lesson? That we want a safety of our horse under us, that when something bothers them or scares them, by golly, you can come in and he's ready to get uptight and worried and you can go, whoa. And I didn't jerk him. He did that on his own. That showed me that if something would have come up behind and he wanted to bolt or blow, he might have gone away and gotten away with it because he wasn't with me. That's why the rider, every time you ride, you're training. You better know how to use your hands and be careful of this because you know what? A, your horse deserves good hands, and B, the safety and long-term longevity and function of your horse depends. Whoa. And oh boy, he didn't like that, did he? He shook his head. He's like, no. So do I jerk his face, or was that about his feet? Was that about his balance, or was that about him bridling? It was about his balance. So I'm not going to jerk his head for that. I'm just going to do a lot more of it. And you guys, this might take you weeks, months, days. It's a process. And I notice that he's pulling on the right side of his jaw more than the left. So I think I'll trot a circle. I think I'll get him softer on this right side of the jaw. Like for him, this is high pressure. But you guys, if we've got good hands and a good bit, it shouldn't be that big a deal. It shouldn't be high pressure. It should be okay to take a hold of your horse, gently draw them to the ground. It was better. He let me have his body. He still pushed down, but it was better. So I have a lot of work to do on there, but that's a further continuation of how important this whoa is. And don't finish your ride till you at least get an improved stop like that. Good boy. For 10 years, I've used the TR3 Classic drag to keep my performance horses at their peak. And now I'm so excited to say that we now have that TR3 E series. There just isn't anything better than that TR3 Arena drag to help make my performance and my program complete. So no matter the size of your program, good footing should matter to you. So contact ABI today and get your Arena drag.